And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blank. And Tyler, it's late. We're recording late. We should be dreaming, but we were WrestleDreaming earlier today. How you doing?
That was very smooth. I'm doing well, I think. WrestleDream was a very polarizing show.
Yeah, it was.
And it didn't look like it was going to be the case, but we're going to get into reasons why it might be one of, if not the most polarizing show for the year in AEW. But wrestling aside, Brad, I'm doing well, man. It's been a great week for GI. We released 2 episodes. Last week, we had our normal recording, and then the great Warren Shaw of 19 Media joined us for a special on the Mr. McMahon docuseries. School is crazy busy, but great. You are just beginning your fall break, sir. I'm blessed. I'm busy. Ultimately, I have no complaints. How are you?
I'm doing well. Like you said, I'm on fall break. It is a break in name only. I will be writing letters of recommendation for at least one of these days. I will be doing yard work that I haven't been able to do at least one of these days. If the sun doesn't kill me, I start my classes. My grad school starts up on Thursday, and essentially I got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. That's it. And then everything else is, business as usual. And on at least one of those days is going to be at least 8 letters of recommendation. I said I'll get them done over break, and I'm gonna do that because I have the time. It's hard to do it during the school year, and then it's sending emails to get guest speakers in and try to give the kids some opportunities to hear from people from industry and go from there. So if you're listening to this and you're local to the Tucson area and you are in the mental health field, I don't know what that means, but
they heard it.
There it is.
They saw it.
Don't just show up.
And our listeners.
You can reach me on X, or I don't know, look me up on the Marana High School homepage.
That's right. He's infamous at Windduster.
I feel like I'm shilling for a product here.
No,
and
you are.
Reality,
I'm actively helping you with this.
Go help out at my class. That'd be great. Yeah.
That's such a cool honor, though. Going back to your letters of rec, Brad. That's such a huge honor. And I know, like, to your point, it ends up, well, of course, it's work. I have to spend time doing this. I want to do it right. But such a huge honor to be asked to be a recommender. Do you remember the days when you and I were in the inverse of this, and we were asking the elders in our life to co-sign us so we could get a job or get into college or get a scholarship? And now, all these years later, you are that person. You are that role model. That's amazing.
It's crazy because it's been like, man, how long has it been? Almost 8 months for me since I got my last letter of recommendation and tried to leave. So it's it just seems like forever ago.
Yeah. Yes, it does. 8 months.
I have no way to get out of that conversation. So
dreaming.
I
said it smoothly earlier.
I was gonna say
we should be dreaming asleep this WrestleDream.
Locked in, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm not effing leaving if I'm Leo in Wall Street. So speaking of wolves, maybe a GI at the movies next week. Let's get into it, Tyler. WrestleDream happened. It was, like you said, a polarizing event. I slept through the pre-show. I really wanted to watch it. I woke up to see Orange Cassidy punching somebody, and then I heard somebody yell "Truth Magnum," and then that's all I got. I had a migraine, and the medication took me for a little ride before the show started. I'm glad I remembered to set an alarm. But overall, let's hear your thoughts overall for the show.
Yeah, well, and you watched more of the pre-show of 0 Hour than I did. I was out and about and picking up dinner, and 5 o'clock really came up quickly on this Saturday. I don't know what it was about this particular Saturday in October, but I was able to make it not on time, but I did catch the vast majority of the actual card, Brad. So to kick things off, Jay White, Switchblade, returned. He defeated Hangman Adam Page by pinfall. Mm-hmm. Now, you know this, Brad. I will confess, I caught about the last 5 minutes. I came in about 15 minutes after the tape officially started. So I did catch the last few minutes, the finishing sequence. But from what I saw, Really strong match. Switchblade Jay White as a babyface, as someone we want to actively root for, is pretty new. I remember when Bullet Club Gold were at the start of the year nefarious and we were booing them, and there was Cardblade, and then we're closing out the year really investing in these four guys. Cardblade is no more, but we're really invested in these four guys, and instead of being kind of arrogant jerks, now they're guys we want to root for. So that was just interesting to see Switchblade's first match in this new light, but really happy he won. I would bet this is not the end of the feud by any means. Really smart of him to take out Hangman's leg. I've not noticed that in a lot of opponents that Hangman is facing AEW, but that makes so much sense. If you take out his leg, you're effectively taking away the buckshot lariat, one of the most devastating moves in wrestling, and that clearly played into the finish. Right. Hangman hesitated because his leg was hurt, but then when he finally did his cool jump over the rope, it's too late. Switchblade caught him. Blade Runner, 1, 2, 3. Really fun match from what I saw. How about you?
I loved it. I thought it was really smart the way that he got out of the buckshot lariat twice, 2 different ways. One was rolling away from him, and then the other one was rolling into him and eating those forearms. I thought that was really cool. I loved this match. These guys are not strangers to each other. They work together in New Japan. It's not like they didn't know each other before this. So getting a chance to see them, I guess two former Bullet Club members. I'm pretty sure Hanger was in Bullet Club. I can't remember if it was one of those things where he was Bullet Club adjacent, kind of the way he was sort of elite, but like elite adjacent and elite at the same time. It's very confusing. Hangman's always kind of doing his own thing, even when he's in a stable. So it's it was great. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a lot of fun. Really glad this was on the card. Just happy to see Jay White back and healthy, and it made sense for him to want to fight Hangman. So I thought it was great.
Right. And we're going to talk about a lot of returning healthy wrestlers throughout this show very soon. Actually, the next match, one of my favorites of the night. Same. Mariah May defeated Willow Nightingale. She retained her AEW Women's World Championship. Brad, this was a blast. Dare I say my favorite Mariah May match since joining AEW. She was fantastic. Willow was fantastic. My favorite part, or the part of the match I thought was best executed, was the finishing sequence.
Yes.
There are so many matches.
The last 10 moves.
Yes. We consume so much wrestling, and there are so many matches that as an audience member, it feels a bit rushed, or maybe, fun match, but then kind of a lackluster finish. This was how to finish a championship match 101. Nothing fugazi. Simply Mariah May was better on this night. For Willow they're on the top of the turnbuckle, for Willow to pick her up into a powerbomb position, but then Mariah hits a Hurricane Rana, and then into, I believe it was Mayday, if I'm not mistaken, and then 1, 2, 3. I want to say maybe the second Mayday.
It was after the missed moonsault.
Yes. Whew. I've not seen Willow try a moonsault before.
I can't remember her doing it. Like maybe I'm wrong here. I just don't remember it.
I didn't know she had that in her bag.
Me either. So when she went up and did that, I was like, there's no way she's gonna do it. They're gonna stop her. And just seeing her just sort of crest in the air.
It was amazing.
Oh my God. Agile. That would have been the end. That would have been the end of it.
Yeah.
And then if she hits that on Mariah May, it's over.
Earlier in the match, Willow hit that really awesome Death Valley driver.
Yes.
But right into the bottom turnbuckle.
Into the buckle, yes.
Yeah. This, I think you can tell based on my voice and my face that I really enjoyed this match. It was my favorite Mariah May match of her career. I enjoyed Mariah versus Tony at All in London, certainly when she was crowned. But this match was fantastic. Willow, I'm convinced, future AEW Women's World Champ. It was no surprise that she didn't win on this night.
Sure.
But both women were fantastic. I had a great time with this.
I did too, and I think the important part to take away is that Willow was always in these matches and always perceived as a threat, right? Like she always has a chance. It's never like, oh, they built this up, this will be fun. We know they have no chance, but it'll be a fun match. Willow is always maybe going to win this thing. So they got her in this really great position where she's maybe going to win this thing, never quite gets there. Man, when she wins, wherever that is, it's probably going to be Long Island, but wherever that is, place is going to go completely nuts. It's going to come unglued. So I can't wait for that moment. I can't wait for it, but I loved this. I think Mariah May is killing it right now as champ.
Me too.
I wasn't sure how this was going to go as her being champion, because I just felt like we hadn't seen enough of her character. Mm-hmm. So when she won, it was like, all right, well, who is this person going to be? And she's just awesome in this role.
Right.
So really excited. So
what do you make of the Nigel McGuinness of it all? Nigel being on commentary during the Mariah matches, and
I think it adds so much because he's such a good heel broadcaster.
Okay.
That, he's kind of like, Corey Graves does this, but then he'll call the match and be like, you gotta give credit where credit's due. Nigel just hates on people, especially Bryan Danielson. And even in this one, he's like, I don't know who to root for when he got slapped by Mox in the main event. I think him going all in on Mariah May all the time.
Yeah.
It just adds to her being the bad guy, and it's just something for us to look forward to because it's funny.
Yeah,
it's William Regal saying something spicy about Excalibur, Man in the Mask. Like it doesn't do anything to hurt the match or anything. It just kind of adds to the overall story of it all, the little details and intricacies. I love it.
Okay. Wanted to ask you that.
Wait. You have a different opinion? Do you have
no. I don't really know what my opinion is. I just find it hilarious because. I forget. I should have written down what the quote was, but I think there was Nigel alluding to Mariah being angelic.
Yes.
And we are just fortunate to be in her presence tonight. Yeah. And I forget, maybe Excalibur said like that heavy breathing you're hearing is Nigel. Trying to.
I love how free they are.
Properly commentate.
And I feel like, again, it's very similar to what Corey Graves does because he does kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Especially when it was Carmella, when Carmella was wrestling.
Right.
It was like, okay, clearly, like, we know they're together in real life.
Carmella.
Yes.
Not Carmelo Hayes.
No, not Carmelo Hayes.
Yes.
Carmella. Hopefully we see Carmella back at some point. But if not, that's totally okay too.
Yeah,
because she seems happy and
doing a thing.
Healthy. Absolutely. Amen. Yeah. Brad, this next match, I'm going to give you the result, but then present it to you a little bit differently. TNT Championship, predictably, scapegoat Jack Perry defeated Katsuyori Shibata. What really got fans talking, of course, was after the match. So Jack Perry, total heel, beating up Shibata after he just beat him. Daniel Garcia comes out, saves the day. Then we get a returning MJF who beats up Daniel Garcia. Literally boot on neck. And then Adam Cole returns. What did you make of this? All of it.
It was like mid-card all out. When it was
it really felt like that,
successive returns and debuts and stuff, right?
Yeah. Was this on your radar at all? We know there was speculation about MJF is finishing his filming. He could come up soon. Adam Cole reportedly cleared. Mm-hmm. Did this shock you? Was it that kind of all out shock, or you had a feeling this could happen tonight?
Well, it definitely wasn't the all out shock. And when I say mid card, I mean where it was placed. They're not mid carders, for God's sake. Don't misunderstand me. But it's the. No, it wasn't a shock because they're still with the company and it was a return. It wasn't a debut. If Bobby Lashley would have shown up, I would have been like, oh, good Lord. But it was people coming back that we love to see entertain us. So it was great, but it wasn't that level of shock. I think it was appropriately placed and it's continuing stories. Like one story's been going on for well over a year. And like how many years now? 2 years? When was the Devil story?
Adam Cole and MJF. So last year, World's End is when the reveal happened. So that
was January.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we've got.
Year and a half maybe.
Yeah. So it's been going on for a very long time, and injuries slowed it down. Like
we never got the real payoff.
The Undisputed Kingdom kind of petered out, and now they're turning babyface, but Adam Cole's babyface. So maybe they're going to keep it together.
That's something to follow for sure.
Yeah, hopefully without that music, because they got to keep the Adam Cole music going. Like you can't have him come out to the heel music. So
right.
Not really sure what's going on there. I still don't understand who's in what promotion. I'm sure we're going to hear about that later. But it was awesome. I don't have any comments. It's like the Garcia MJF thing clearly wasn't over. MJF got his ring from the pawn shop. and Adam Cole returned, and it was awesome. I can't wait to see what they do with this.
Right. I think we're going to get a Dynamite tag match at some point of Jack Perry and MJF versus Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia. I'm excited for the prospect of Daniel Garcia choosing Jack Perry as the champion he wants to come after. That's a layup to me. If Daniel Garcia is going to hold gold sooner than later, he should be the guy to dethrone Jack Perry, ostensibly becoming the face of TNT. That's to me, that's a great call. In my mind, it was either going to be Garcia dethrones Okada, which would be a big look, or he dethrones Perry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with the latter.
Well, who knows what happens to Kyle O'Reilly? I don't know if you saw it was on the 0 Hour.
Yes, conglomeration. Mm-hmm.
Well, Kyle O'Reilly confronted Okada out back and said, like, I'm a big fan of yours. That's what I'm saying. I knew you didn't see this part. So said, I'm a big fan of yours. I respect you.
I did not. No.
I'd like to challenge you to a match. I'd love to get in the ring with you and mix it up for the championship. He said, let me think about it. And he just went, no, walked away, and then came back with a good crisp bitch. And then Kyle said, like, maybe I can ask you a different time, and maybe I'll use a different way, something like this. And then he starts punching him in the face. So we'll see what happens. I imagine there's a match set up for Dynamite this week or Collision this week. I don't really know. I imagine it's Dynamite and not Collision with baseball going on, but I have no idea. So I haven't looked at socials to know, but I know that's coming up here. So Jack Perry makes a lot of sense to me to be the one he goes after. Tyler. Oh, you were going to transition so well. I stepped all over it. Embrace the mess. Go ahead.
Thank you for your permission. Speaking of what makes me happy, this next match, three-way dance for the AEW International Championship. Brad Winchester, Konosuke Takeshita is now a champion. He defeated Will Ospreay and Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, on air, off air, via text, via voice memo, we've expressed our excitement for this match. Frankly, it exceeded my expectations. That is my hot take. That is my immediate take tonight. The right guy won. I predicted Takeshita was going to win. It hit different to actually see it come to fruition. Yeah. This match was it was incredible. Mm-hmm. These guys, how they played off each other, the poison ranas, the German suplexes,
the double German suplex,
the jumps, the flips, the taples, the aprons. I knew this match was going to be special when it started out with a callback to TNA Unbreakable 2005.
Can't confirm. You texted me.
I did. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels versus Samoa Joe. For some reason, Brad, I didn't think about how this very much paralleled that match, even if we just kind of, put the pieces together. Let's say, for example, Will Ospreay is Christopher Daniels, or Will Ospreay is maybe more of an AJ in this case, but either way, let's say Ricochet is AJ or Chris. I think you can vice versa those guys. And then Konosuke Takeshita is Samoa Joe. He's the powerhouse. The ingredients, very similar to 2005 in TNA. I love that they started out with that callback of Ricochet and Ospreay going after Takeshita. And he's like, guys, what are we doing? This is not a handicap match. And then they kind of went off from there. This was great. We get the Don Callis interference, which was not great. I did not like that he pulled the ref. I think it was Stephon Smith. He pulled Stephon Smith out of the ring.
Yeah.
And he being Don Callis, pulls out the screwdriver. Will Ospreay intercepts it. A man in a hoodie comes out, hits Will Ospreay with the screwdriver. It's revealed that it's Kyle Fletcher. Konosuke Takeshita takes advantage, starts to pin Will Ospreay. There's no ref. They throw Stephon Smith back in the ring. And then miraculously, selling the bump he took just being thrown out of the ring, he slowly counts 1, 2, 3. I never like these. And the older I get, the more wrestling I consume nowadays, I don't like when these finishes happen. So that was the one element that I didn't love. However, I get you have to protect Will Ospreay. Frankly, I thought Ricochet was going to take the pin. So yeah, Ricochet not taking the pin, actually, I feel good about. I know you have to protect Will Ospreay. but just the ref bump, the lack of believability for me. I know it's pro wrestling, it's an experienced entertainment, but that's one part of the match that when we revisit this conversation, when we talk about our matches of the year, I'm pretty certain I will bring this one up, but I don't think it's going to be my number one because that finish just wasn't my favorite. But I get how it made sense in terms of protecting one of the top guys in your company. The right guy won this match. I'm so happy we experienced this. How did this match land for you? Did it meet your expectations? Did it live up?
Yeah, it surpassed them by more than I expected. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know if it was going to be this good. They had so many different elements that were small in it. I loved when I say strong, I mean like Japanese strong comeback for Takeshita after getting his ass whooped.
Yes.
When he got up and just teed off the forearms.
And the crowd.
Whoo! Yes.
The crowd. They were here for it.
I didn't really have a problem with the interference. There's no disqualification, so whatever. That part didn't have a problem.
That's true. Yeah, that is an important stipulation. Yeah.
So there was no DQ. If there was DQ, then I would be like, all right, this is stupid. If it was like a normal match, I would have been furious. But with no DQ, it made me feel a little bit better about it.
That's a good point.
What I didn't like is that they didn't have Takeshita win it on his own. It's not that Will Ospreay lost because of interference. It's because Takeshita won because of interference, or they didn't need him to. Like, listen to the crowd. You don't need to have him do that because he'll have won. People are going to hate Fletcher. People are going to hate Don Callis, but people aren't going to hate Takeshita. And now they don't hate him. They love him. But they don't love him more because he didn't win the match on his own. So I don't see how it's like a winning formula for Takeshita other than he now holds gold. I'm probably overthinking this. I don't think casual fans care. I think casual fans would go, cool. The great big dude that moves like a gazelle is champion right now. So that man being that size has no right to move that athletically. And he hits the ropes at 2,000 miles an hour. It's insane. And for him to be champ is just a no-brainer. And you know how much I've wanted this since the beginning. I said as soon as he debuted when he's like on loan from DDT, I was like, they have to sign this man immediately, and he's a future champion. And then, 2 years later, we're here. I feel like they waited too long for that because I love Takeshita, man. But storyline wise, Kyle was pissed at Will because he didn't use the screwdriver and cost him the tag belts. Don Callis has been pissed at Will for a while now for leaving the Don Callis family. You can't leave a family that's called a family when nobody's related with a guy whose first name is Don. Like it's very clearly the mafia, so you can't just leave. Kyle Fletcher turning now sets up it's the easiest thing in the world. It now sets up a tag match with Ricochet and Will Ospreay tagging against Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita. This is going to happen. You know it's going to happen, and it's going to rule. So I can't wait. Also, thoughts and prayers for Ricochet after taking that table bump. Good God. That table just, it looked like the tables they used in the Tokyo Dome when Will and Kenny wrestled, where it just turned into a bunch of little splinters on the floor.
To get to hit his pile driver.
Oh my God.
On that, right?
Yes.
And then Ricochet was not to be seen for the remaining 5 minutes of the match.
I thought for sure it was going to be a Blue Thunder bomb onto the table. And then when it was just a pile driver and Takeshita weighs 8 million pounds of muscle, there was no table anymore. It was just
we do. Okay, Ricochet's not winning this match.
No,
this is not a case where he comes in at the end and then roll up schoolboy 1, 2, 3. He's effectively out. Either Will Ospreay's retaining or Takeshita's winning this title.
Yeah. So I don't love the screwy finish. I don't love the tomfoolery, but I do a throwback to the last episode. But I do really like that it sets up more story and the potential for Will and Ricochet to team up. And maybe that's a way where the United Empire can reform as a tag team, as a heel tag team. I don't know when he's going to heal up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see what stories come out of this. And I don't really have any other notes. I just I think it's one of the best triple threats I've ever seen ever. I'll put it up there with the best of all time, top 2 or 3 at least. To your point, we have that TNA match. Was that the same match? Was that the stop hitting me match?
Yes,
okay,
that's exactly it. Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
Christopher Daniels was the champion. So
yes,
the way I listed it earlier maybe wasn't the best explanation. Christopher Daniels
was an amazing match.
The heel champion. He was the one being picked on by Joe and Styles at the start of the match, which in this one was Ricochet and AJ attacking Konosuke. Not the champion, but the powerful, very powerful challenger. It was great.
I wonder since the fallen angel is still there and still around.
I forget that. Yeah.
I wonder if he was one of the agents for the match. I wonder if he was putting the match together. I hope so too.
He had to smile at that.
I mean, it's so awesome. I bet they were like, can we please do that? And speaking of, Samoa Joe's probably going to be back soon. So
embarrassment. I texted you this embarrassment of riches.
Yes, truly. They're not all there. And when Kenny's gone, it feels different, but what an incredible roster. And, hopefully Brick gets healthy and is safe and finds some water. She's waterless right now with no voice, strep throat Jones, but hopefully she's feeling better because the women's division is also stacked and will probably be growing. We got Tyler. We didn't even get to talk about it. It finally happened. Penelope Ford.
Ah, yes.
You have no idea. I was yelling.
Made you very happy.
Oh my God. She rules. Like she's so good.
Yeah.
I feel like she's been underutilized forever. And I really hope
it's well documented. You said it on many episodes.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to see that she's back. I'm just thrilled. Tyler, our next match was an unexpected match for this card for me. For it to be on here and not the 0 hour, but also it was a fun match, man. Hologram continued his fight, his 3 month long fight with the Beast Mortos in a 2 out of 3 falls match, and Hologram remained undefeated. What'd you think?
Yeah, my first thought is I've seen these guys wrestle before. You and I were relatively faithful viewers of Collision, particularly during their summer series in Texas. So I've seen these guys in the ring, and we knew it was going to be awesome. I love that AEW has heavily promoted Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes,
they've had the graphics on their TV programming over the last month, and clearly made that a point of emphasis in this one. And they being commentary highlighted AEW's new partnership with Fox Sports Mexico. Yes. And they spotlighted Carlos Cabrera and the Spanish announce team. So that was
really cool.
Yeah, that also validated, okay, this match feels very random. Why is this one on here? I get Hologram. We're trying to introduce him to not only the Dynamite audience, but now the pay-per-view audience.
Right.
I'm loving what Hologram is doing, but learning more about the business end of it, Hispanic Heritage Month. Okay, I'm here for it. This match was fun. Hologram pinned for the very first time in AEW. So nice nod to the Beast Mortos, who's been doing great work in the company. But Hologram ends up pinning, getting 2 out of the 3 falls. Very predictable, fun match. These guys have great chemistry. I love me some Lucha Libre. However, Brad, I want to talk about what happened before this match. Swerve Strickland returns home. It's Swerve's house.
A whole segment, yes.
I want to know your thoughts on the fit. I want to know your thoughts on Swerve choosing family, choosing to stay with Prince Nana, proprietor of Prince Nana's Coffee. I don't know if you've tried it yet, but maybe that'll be on an upcoming episode. And then the lack of Bobby Lashley appearing tonight. We do this as wrestling fans. I expected us to see Lashley this evening. We did not, but thought MVP delivered. Shelton Benjamin. Brad, this may be my favorite moment of the entire night. Shelton Benjamin getting his flowers from the Tacoma audience when he stepped to, actually not even before he stepped to Swerve, when Swerve said...
A little early, by the way. MVP had to go like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
that made me laugh because he was like, and then MVP was like,
not yet.
Pushed him back with the little cane, then let him go forward.
Right. Before Swerve made his decision to stay with Nana, when he was listing out, you and MVP, you and I wrestled down the road at Defy Wrestling 6 years ago. and Shelton Benjamin. Shelton, you are a trailblazer. You inspired me and a new generation of Black wrestlers. And for the Tacoma fans, just like we saw on Dynamite, Brad, a week or two ago, for fans to just be so excited Shelton Benjamin is here and to just very outwardly, expressively show Shelton love that he
really cool.
is this trailblazer who we just haven't talked about enough, who never got a world championship reign. It's crazy to think about. I love that. Fairly predictable that Swerve stayed with Nana, but I'm thinking we're going to see Lashley at some point, maybe as soon as this Wednesday on Dynamite. Very excited for that feud. So Hologram Mordos, of course, I want to hear your POV, but I also want to know what you thought about Swerve Strickland returning home.
Hologram and Mordos was great. There was that tornado that Mordos did over to the ramp.
It's a big man.
That is a large human being. Spinning sideways, leaping through the sky. I don't understand.
Yeah. I've seen it before, but every time it's still impressive.
The athleticism of these people. I try to tell people that I know that don't watch wrestling. I was talking to my mom today on my way to Lowe's.
How was that?
Do a little Lowe's run. It was great. It's their anniversary. Happy anniversary.
My parents' anniversary is tomorrow.
Oh, get out
as well.
Well, happy anniversary to them. Pat, express my
nice.
Express my wishes. That. Yeah, I'll shoot my mom a text later. She's probably still up, or she's probably still in the chair, passed out, actually. But that's usually the way it goes. She, I was talking to her about it. I'm like, well, I love live theater. I love the theater. This is just combat theater. It's just they're doing a script, they're jumping around, they're doing all this stuff that's incredibly athletic feats, but they're also, it's scripted. There's an element of improvisation, obviously, but it's also scripted television. And it's really cool that these two things are happening. I told her, like, I think you and Dad would enjoy a live show if you could find a place where your dad could stand for the thing instead of sitting just because of his back. I think they would have a good time. And because it's theatrical, it's athletic, it's performance, it's all of those things. Hologram and Mordos are like the greatest example of those things where you get to see this athleticism. Scripted wise, okay, so they don't do the Latin wrestlers much service in AEW. There's a lot of them, and I can count on my hands in one hand probably the entirety of promos given by the Lucha Brothers,
right,
in their whole run that weren't just Alex doing it in English. Rushka did it in Spanish, and they talked over it. Like, figure it out better so we get to know this. Like, I don't know what Hologram sounds like. I don't know what Hologram's motivations are. He just sort of hologram, and his mask looks weird when the lights are on. It's when it's not like the black light, it just looks uncanny, creepy mask with the square mouth hole.
And Mortos obviously doesn't speak either. He's on the Luchasaurus, just more.
But that one actually, right? That one makes sense. But they've been feuding for a while now, and I don't know why.
They have,
other than they're wrestling each other, and that's the story. Is like they've been wrestling, but why are they still?
Yeah. So Hologram beat this dude in Texas like a month ago.
We've had other ones. So I don't really know why it was on this. Other than it's a good thing to do with the new partners, and they made a point to say, like, this is the first one with. So I get why they did it from a business decision, but at least they put on a really good show. It's just, if we're following stories, there wasn't one here, outside of, like, they've been beefing for a while, but I don't know why. They've just been beefing. It's like high school level storytelling. They looked at me the wrong way. Like, that's the story. Or maybe Mortos grunted and offended Hologram. So the Swerve segment, the fit, I was confused for a while when he came out. But he came out wearing all white, and it said something lace on it. One lace, something like that. Yeah. So whatever that means. I don't understand it, but it was a lacy getup. So
yeah, he pulled it off.
It was fine. He looked good. Nana surprised me. I don't think he's staying with Nana. I think the family thing, he's setting him up. So I mean, I think it's going to happen at some point. Here's why. Why are they family, Tyler?
I don't know.
That's exactly right. So I'll give you a date. I was looking it up. So
okay, I'm ready.
April 7th, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Episode of Rampage, if you're wondering. Swerve Strickland joined the faction, the Embassy, after he announced he was merging his own faction, the Mogul Affiliates, with them.
Okay. Oh,
and then it was renamed the Mogul Embassy.
Right.
This was a business decision that he decided to do with Nana, and it was always business. And now it's, like those jabrones are gone. Parker, and then what's his name? Tank or something?
Trench.
I
don't know why I remember that.
Because it's a stupid name. Because it's a terrible name. You're the name of a ditch. Like it's just such a terrible name.
Yeah,
what's your name?
nice.
My name is Trench. If somebody, I don't know if you saw have you seen the Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
I've seen many of them. Yeah.
Okay, so
I saw them in theaters.
I think it's the second one when they're like, what's his name? Taserface.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they all laugh at his stupid name. That's Trench,
that.
man.
Yeah,
like Trench was just Taserface in AEW.
Yeah.
So
it's a great reference. One I know as well.
it wasn't good. So he is active with Swerve. He is part of Swerve's life, has been his manager for what feels like years, but is really year. Probably a year and change, but year and a half maybe. So he's been with him since his title run and his rise to that. But it was a business decision. And then it was like, well, the affiliates disappeared. The embassy fell apart and are all doing their own thing. Like who else was in the embassy? It was Brian Cage and who else?
Yeah, Brian Cage and then the Gates of Agony.
Gates of Agony is doing their own thing. Brian Cage is doing his own thing again.
Brian Cage became champ tonight. I saw he beat Atlantis Jr. to become ROH TV champ, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Stupid.
But you're right. He's effectively to my recollection, last I saw of him, doing his own thing.
I love that he's a champ again. That dude should have a belt. ROH champ makes tons of sense. He's like a consistent veteran and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Stupid. He was on a YouTube show for a TV championship. Like put it on your paid product and make people want to watch it instead of having this bullshit on our paper. $50 to watch The Learning Tree for an hour. This is our, we'll get there. Okay. Darby beat Brody King. These two human beings are insane. I don't have anything to add other than Tony Khan's staircase budget better be big. Good Lord.
You said it. Yeah. You said it well. These guys, obviously they have chemistry, and I would imagine behind the scenes are probably really, really good friends based on the amount of times they've worked. Really cool to see. You mentioned Undisputed Kingdom earlier turning. Brody King extending the handshake at the end. I wonder if that's something or if that's nothing.
Darby makes sense in the House of Black, appearance wise, but not anything else wise.
But no. He
the black, white face paint.
Yeah, we'll talk about my thoughts on Darby's 2025 later in the night.
I'm sure.
Big win. Well, okay, Darby won the match. It was in Washington. Not a surprise there. I thought a winner from this match was Brody King as a singles star. The entrance, the in-ring work, the audience reactions, he was great. I know our guy Merge sent that as well. We'll talk more about Merge's thoughts overall on the show near the end of our recap here. But Brody King looked great as an individual star, kind of breaking away from House of Black for tonight. But yeah, Darby winning makes a ton of sense. Love the vignette. Love the all that Darby brings in these matches, even though I get concerned for his well-being. But this was fun. This was really fun. I'm glad Darby got his match on the show.
Agreed. The Young Bucks defeated Private Party in a pretty clean win, which was disappointing for me. Private Party's going to win. They're going to win at some point. They have to win at some point. This is getting stupid. I saw Righteous Reg was tweeting. I commented on this thing, and it's like, because people were going like, well, this made them look bigger. They made them bigger stars. They're now in a position, but they got to build them to win the titles. And man, like they've been building them for 5 years. how much more building can you possibly do at this point? Like they're ready. You don't have to have incredible polished wrestlers that are perfect at everything when they have charisma and character and the audience is into them and all that. I will say that I was disappointed by the pop in Seattle when they came out.
I was just about to bring that up. I was thinking during their entrance, like, I already didn't think they were winning tonight. You know my thoughts. My prediction is somehow they get a rematch or maybe a three-way with top.
They did that. Same thing happened with the Acclaimed, right?
Okay, so we need to talk about Private Party and the Acclaimed. So this is very much feeling Acclaimed-esque.
Yeah.
Not for the reason of let's coordinate a black tag team, but because of how this is playing out. I think they're going to get the rematch. I think they're going to get the rematch, Private Party, that is, in some way at Full Gear next month. It's going to be in Jersey. We know these are two New York guys. Brett, I was so happy for Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy because, like you, I was really discouraged and concerned during the entrance. I didn't know if Tacoma wasn't feeling the new Flex on Them song or they were just tired from seeing 10 to 11 matches already during the night. But it seemed really quiet in the building. I'm so happy that as the match got going and really picked up,
especially by the end,
that during the near falls that Private Party kicked out of, you could see the crowd is really invested in them and wanted them to win. When the Bucks actually pinned Private Party, you could tell the crowd wasn't feeling it. They were ready for Private Party to be crowned. So I'm so glad. And that really speaks to the talent of these guys and really all four of them, but particularly Private Party, that they were able to clearly win over the crowd during and certainly by the end of the match. But yeah, during the entrance, I thought, oh man, if they haven't decided who's going to win, if they're going to kind of see what the crowd thinks, the Bucks are for sure taking this. I was concerned by the lack of reaction, seemingly.
Yeah, same. And it was disappointing, but it is also, if they don't run it back somehow, then this was a huge wasted opportunity. I'm just worried they're going to drop it because Tyler, the next match on the card was incredibly dumb. I have no problem with what they did. I have no problem with the match that they had. Had they simply not put the ROH World Championship up on it, it probably would have sat better with me. But I'm so sick and tired of seeing another promotion's shit on an AEW card. It's like, who are these people working for? I don't know what company they're in. Why is Mark Briscoe defending ROH stuff? If you have a $10 subscription service to your ROH television show and the ROH television champion loses its match and the belt switches for free on YouTube and not on television. And then you have Mark Briscoe defending the main world championship for Ring of Honor, not on Ring of Honor. What the hell are they doing on Ring of Honor? Like, what is the
I couldn't tell you. I haven't watched.
No, and this
but no, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're cooking.
Because it's like, I know there was an interview recently or afterward that Mark Briscoe said he wants to defend the championship more on TV, on ROH TV. Well, yeah, because he hasn't. I think there was up to the last pay-per-view, he hadn't defended it at all. Not once since winning it. And then he defended it on a pay-per-view. That wasn't an ROH one. And it's just so strange. I have no interest in watching ROH. I'm sure the talent there is great. I want them on AEW, and I'd like ROH to just like do something else without AEW talent on it because it's confusing. They're treating it like NXT, but then they're putting the NXT titles on the on Survivor Series instead of having cameos from Raw and SmackDown on NXT shows. They're doing the opposite thing. It's like the NXT cameos are happening on Raw and SmackDown or WrestleMania. It's like, no, we're not going to have the Intercontinental title defended this week because we're going to have the North American Championship match. Who cares? Like, why is this here? So why do I care about Great American Bash the next weekend if it's going to be defended the day before on a different it's so stupid because Mercedes Moné was not on this card. Okada was not on this card. They were doing other things, but we got Mark Briscoe against a tree. Was it because it's in the Pacific Northwest that learning trees had to show up? Is that why? Because I don't know. It sucks. Also, I said, if Big Bill turned, and this was when Big Bill turns and kills Jericho, and finally becomes a babyface single star and goes for a championship, which is about 10 years overdue at this point. Fine, I'm in. Let's go. That didn't happen. Brian Keith, the bounty hunter. Brian Keith is not Brian Keith, the bounty hunter. He's just guy in Learning Tree wearing a fedora, I guess.
Yeah, he's the bad apple.
Why is he a bad apple? He's wearing all black with a straight brimmed hat. I don't understand why he's a bad apple. Like, how make him? What does that mean? Where's the? They took his character that already existed and turned it into that. Under a tree. The
branches.
Oh, Tyler, I'm out.
Yeah, we got to make sure we clip this. Three thoughts from me. First of all, I agree with you. 3 thoughts. My investment in conglomeration versus Learning Tree is nil. I'm not invested in it at all.
Agreed.
Number 2, Big Bill. If we're gonna do this continued ROH on AEW TV and on pay-per-views, Big Bill should be the one challenging Mark Briscoe.
Yep.
Not Chris Jericho. And to use, and I know he's doing this obviously to generate heat, but the whole bringing up Jay Briscoe, and then it just didn't work for me. It felt rushed, and nothing about this was working for me. I think obviously Mark Briscoe has really shown his value to the company, and he's a big draw, and his matches are always really fun. But to your point, Brad, it's the needing to separate ROH and AEW. And if we are going to have ROH integration, why haven't we seen Athena?
Thank you.
Ever.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not ideal. I'm glad Red Velvet is a champion over there, by the way. Big shout out to her. But
yes,
we're going to have the ROH men's champion and
Billy Stark's great. And
and we even got, this isn't just to go down the full list, I promise, but I believe on Collision a few weekends ago, we got that bunkhouse match between Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara versus Undisputed Kingdom. So we're not even necessarily doing this in an equitable fashion. My final point here, I would have much rather have seen Chris Statlander versus Camille added to this show instead of
oh my gosh,
this match.
Yes.
Like that's the one thing looking at this card. This is conversations we've had about AEW, a company we love and continue to support. This is a 9-match show, and then the Swerve segment, only women's match being Mariah May and Willow Nightingale. Obviously, we got Mercedes Moné versus Emi Sakura on Dynamite, and then on the pre-show, Anna Jay versus Harley Cameron. But Chris, Camille would have been a much better option on the main card than what we got here.
I'm glad they at least added the Swerve segment, because the criticism of AEW shows that I've had, that a lot of people have had, has been too long, too many match to match, get the crowd burned out, and they kind of split it right down the middle for the main show, not the pre-show, but for the main show, and I think that helped a lot with making the show feel less exhausting. But putting an ROH title match right toward the end of the card, okay, fine. Listen, fine. If you want to do it, that's the stuff that should go on the 0 hour. That's when you put things on the 0 hour. I know Chris Jericho is still a draw because he's a recognizable name. He is not a draw for many fans. He is a draw for people who aren't yet fans. And I think I don't think that's disputable. Like, because if I say Chris Jericho is wrestling to somebody that's not watching, they're going to be like, oh, cool. I used to watch him 20 years ago. That's really cool that he's still wrestling, I guess. And then tune in to see what he's up to. I like the gimmick. It's grown on me. I really like this. Hi, guys. And he's just obnoxious as all get out. Like, he always makes these things work. He still is pretty good in the ring, considering how old he is and how long he's been doing this. So I'm not going to gripe about that. I know some people can't stand seeing him in there and all this stuff. I don't care about that. I just want to see the talent that is supposed to be with under the Learning Tree, as Big Bill's been wrestling for how many years now? Does he really need to be in a Learning Tree? It feels like have young people that haven't done anything yet do that. The guy's a multi-time, especially tag team champion.
He's ready. He's kind of our GIs next to Takeshita, in that who's that person that's ready that needs to hold gold? I mean, there's a whole list of people we could add, but to me, Big Bill is just bubbling right now. He better, whenever it's time for him to leave the learning tree, he better go straight for a singles championship.
Agreed.
He's the complete package.
Yeah.
He has everything.
Yeah.
And Brian Keith should be in a prominent role as well. I agree with everything you said earlier.
I think Brian Keith, I don't care if Brian Keith's in a prominent role right now. I just want him not to be this.
Yeah. And the benefit is they are getting TV time, no pun intended. But at this point, are they going to be better off after this? Glad we're seeing them consistently on Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and even on this pay-per-view. But are they going to leave the learning tree in a better spot? I certainly hope so. We can go through the list of guys in the Jericho Appreciation Society and the Inner Circle. Were they better off because of being in the group? I would argue some you could say yes. Some it's a bit more nuanced. I hope for the sake of these two guys, they're in the former and not the latter.
I'm confused because it's a lot of with Brian Keith, and maybe I'm misreading this. I don't know, but it just feels like I'm going to say some names. AR Fox. Let's see. I'm scrolling. I'm filibustering. I'm looking at the main title here. I gotta find this, or the main roster here. The ROH Pure Champion. Do you know who that is right now?
Oh man. Lee Moriarty. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So Lee Moriarty. Yeah. Shane Taylor. These are all guys signed to the AEW roster, and none of them are on AEW TV, but they're doing stuff in ROH. So who's on the ROH roster? I just don't know. I can't look at the roster and go like, I know what this product is. Right. If anything, it hurts both products when you don't know what either one of them is. Do those guys need more development in a ring? I don't know that I can say that about AR freaking Fox. Like, the guy is unbelievable in the ring, but I don't understand his character. And they dropped the ball with him a while ago because he was getting hot, and then they just went, something else. Same thing happened with Lee Moriarty. They had him coming out and doing all these different things. He's gone. Very nice.
Right.
There's Danhausen.
Right.
I just feel like when they have Lee Johnson, the other Lee, when they have a plethora of talent, we know they can go. We know that I think most of these guys are healthy. I'm worried that you're going to have these characters like Brian Keith, who had a character, and undo it. And it just seems to me, maybe I'm wrong, you can correct me here, but it seems to me when they have black talent on the roster with an underdeveloped character, they just do nothing with them, and they put them in like a random match every once in a while, or have them be in a random stable that beats people up. I can't think of, Scorpio Sky. What's going on?
Yeah. We thought maybe he was going to be partnered with Private Party, maybe in some way. There was that backstage segment. There's a lot of talent, man. Maybe. Yeah. Even Top Flight, I'm eager to see what they do with Top Flight, because it seems like they kind of, put them together. Top Flight with Leo Rush, with Action Andretti and Layla Gray, and it was cool because they were seen tonight. I think they're going to play a role in Full Gear, hopefully in some fashion. But that also kind of felt like, okay, they're all joining together, but where exactly are we going with this? Hopefully there's a direction.
And they're all characterless blobs. Like,
exactly.
Their in-ring characters are great.
Yeah, they're all great wrestlers. Right.
Yes,
Layla's bubbling.
And they have but Layla has a bit of a character already. So
more than any
other guys.
More than the four guys she's with,
for
sure.
And that's what I'm saying though. Yeah. It's like,
I hear
why don't you guys help those guys out? Because Action Andretti, he does action. It's it. That's all I got. I can't tell you anything about him, his wants, his needs, his desires, other than I want to flip. And I beat Jericho once in Phoenix. Or after Phoenix. I got my ass whooped. That's what it was. Or in Phoenix after Jericho. I can't even remember now. It was Sammy and him, right?
You got it. Yeah.
Sammy pinned him.
Rampage for us.
Yeah, and fun match.
That's been about it.
That's it. Tyler, one more match. I loved the match. Thought it was a great match. Thought it was really awesome. Let's talk about it afterward. I hated it. Not the beatdown, not the run-ins, not the turn. I just thought it was a stupid way to end because it was just, I don't know. They put the last pay-per-view in a microwave and reheated it. It really bothered me that it was just that stupid and lazy. All they did was have Wheeler do it. Like, I get it. It's character development for Wheeler. And then everybody running in. The part that got me the most, two parts. Excalibur should never try to fake cry ever again because it sounded like dog shit. It was awful. It was awful. I started laughing in the living room. He's like, it's just so hard to watch. It's like
when they put Danielson on the stretcher.
Oh, just so bad. It was just so bad. Like, Shivani trying to oversell it. Like, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my whole career. And yeah, I've seen a lot of bad things. It's like, okay. All right, Tone. But what got me was JR when everybody finally ran out.
Yes. Yes.
Where the hell have you guys been?
Where the hell have these guys been? Where the hell were these guys?
Yeah, that got
me. As it's Adam Cole, Daniel Garcia, the aforementioned Private Party. It's like, yeah, wait, JR is actually, I don't know if I would have said that if I was JR, but he's right. Where were these guys 5 minutes ago? The Calvary's here. That popped me. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was bad. Like, to end the match with them committing murder again. At least this time, one of the I don't remember who was on commentary yelled. Someone called the cops. I think it might have been Excalibur. Finally, we're like, get the police. Why didn't they say that when the plastic bag came out? Why did they wait till it was on his face? Why wasn't security already there intervening? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to suspend it for the sake of the pro wrestling of it all. But I just thought it was so stupid that they keep talking about how they don't want to do it. Don't make me do this. I don't want to do this without any explanation. That might be intentional to make us want to tune in. But it was like, no, you got to give us at least a crumb at the end there. Cause it's just them running away for no reason. That's it for Bryan Danielson. It goes out with a whimper and no explanation instead of, they do that and you get a little bit of an explanation or at least a tease. There was no tease, Tyler. It was just, he's gone. We know he's being written off TV because his full-time career is done. Did that put over Yuta in any way? It probably gave him heat, but that's it.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just like they had him being a good guy and then they turned him heel and then he's kind of a baby face again and now he's a heel again. And it's like, I don't know that I care any more than I did before. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe this is just me being really tired, but I really dislike the way this pay-per-view ended. It left me with kind of not a sour taste in my mouth. It felt very like what I said. I texted you this. If they don't do something here after the beatdown, it's going to feel like the end of a late 90s episode of Raw where the beatdown happens. So you tune into the pay-per-view to find out like how they're going to, pay it off, or the next week of Raw, how are they going to get their payback? And it's just always the bad guys beating up the good guys. And then finally you have your match and, you pay to see the good guys try to be triumphant, a fair fight. We already paid. We were there. Give us the payoff. Instead, you just reheated old screwy finish number 5 and put a plastic bag over his face again. It's just, I don't know, man. At least they did it with Darby being taped up to the turnbuckle, teasing Darby, but they still needed to give the crumb of why are they behaving this way? And they still didn't do that. I don't know what they're thinking there. Like, we need something.
Much like Lashley, I thought Shane McMahon was going to debut tonight, or as you alluded to, some sort of, not maybe a full reveal, but give us some breadcrumbs of who is this higher power, if you will, that is pulling the strings and orchestrating. It's funny you mentioned Raw. You did text me that. My dad actually asked me, is this giving NWO hostile takeover energy?
Yes. It's that same time period.
It's that same time period. you might be onto something. I hope that's not the direction. But Mox also gave the belt, I believe it was to Claudio, who put it in a duffel
Backpack
bag.
Jones, yeah.
Yeah, Backpack Jones. So to be continued on that. I agree with you. The match was great. I texted you this. Mox has such a prize fighter feel to him.
Yeah.
We know he's been arguably the most important figure since AEW was founded. He's always clutch, 4-time champ. It's fantastic. Bryan Danielson being in the main event, being champion for this particular show. Perfect. This was the right town, the right pay-per-view for him to lose and officially end his full-time in-ring career. So match was great. No issue with the finish whatsoever. I quite enjoyed it. But after, I guess something to give them credit for, preliminary credit to AEW, is I thought the whole post-match angle lasted way too long. Brad, to your point, they made it such an emphasis to focus on Darby Allin.
Yeah.
We're going to look back at this, I believe, come Revolution, Double or Nothing time, and applaud them for, okay, Darby Allin clearly was going to be the guy to take out Moxley. Like, to me, that's what I left the show thinking is I didn't love how this ended. I feel like we should have gotten more of a reveal, but focusing that shot on Darby to close the night. Orange Cassidy was in it too, but I took it as, okay, this is clearly setting up that in the new year, maybe heading into summer, Darby is going to be the guy to take down Moxley, and Darby will become champ for the first time. So I think that's going to be good because we're going to come back to this moment, but it lasted way too long. And I agree with you. I really enjoyed the show overall, but that finish for the night did not leave me satisfied by any means.
Now, to your point, they did tease. It's a good point by you. Maybe I missed that. Maybe the black duffel bag or the backpack is, like, well, why did they put it in there? Well, they said it's not your company. It's all those things. So that belt's probably going to end up looking different. But it's confusing when you use that thing because Orange Cassidy did that too. So is it just convenience? You just wanted to carry it? Like, I don't. So
in the Jan Sport.
Yeah, it's just kind of forgetting that, well, we've done that before. And I don't know. Because Mox is being kind with all of his warnings to people that he likes. So he's clearly not doing this because he wants to. He's doing it because he has to. But why does he have to? And why haven't you given us that yet? I would have rather have seen like Mox grab the mic before the beatdown and say, I told you, I don't want to do this. I told you I had to. I gave you the choice, and now we're here. And then like talk through it a little bit and then have all that stuff go down. But like give us a reason.
Yeah. And his promos have been fire leading up to this match.
He's the best promo in wrestling.
Yeah, he checks all the boxes.
It's just, I was really sad that that's the way it went down. Because otherwise, like, incredible match, right? Like, great match. Like, one of my favorite title matches in AEW, just because of how aggressively violent it was.
Right. And the beginning of it was so unique because they played Final Countdown. All the way. I don't recall us seeing that in a match that wasn't Anarchy in the arena. I thought it actually worked out quite well.
Yes, I thought it was great. And Tony was like, it's the last time I paid for it. I'm going to use the whole
Exactly.
song.
Yeah. That's when I knew Danielson's for sure losing.
Yeah, me too.
Tony said, I'm going to get my full money's worth out of this thing.
100%.
Danielson's losing this thing. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, it was like, it just felt like a fight the whole time. It felt like a fight. And I love the way that Marina Shafir was used in it.
I know you're a big fan of hers. That's also documented.
Well, I thought it was good because they've been having her do stuff that Marina Shafir, actual fighter Marina Shafir, would do. Like, yes, she would grab him, put him in that chokehold, and then start kneeing his head off, kneeing him in the neck. That's like, she's a striker. She knows how to actual shoot fight. So, and she's very good at it. And she should be doing those things. And I thought that was awesome. So I half expected somebody to come out on Danielson's behalf until she got ejected. I thought that was awesome. I thought Bryce did a good job in that match. I thought all of it was really good. I thought all of it was really fun. I just didn't like what happened afterward, I didn't like the way it happened afterward. Not necessarily what happened. I didn't like what they left out.
Right.
Because otherwise it's like, like the triple threat, we had some screwiness there that didn't necessarily need to be there. This match also didn't really need that. And then there were a couple of matches on the card where I'm like, why are they there? That ended up being good matches. Like the Mark Briscoe, Chris Jericho match was fine. It was a good match. It wasn't like it was a bad match or anything. I just don't care about the ROH World Championship. I just don't. People that care about ROH probably care about it. I don't care about ROH. I've never cared about ROH. I wish I did, but I don't. I'm not paying $10 extra to watch a TV show I'm going to get for free on AEW anyway. So it doesn't make any sense for me to want to tune into that when there's 18,000 hours a week of wrestling on.
Right.
It's just strange, man.
And you're not alone. This is an additional shout out to our guy Merge at Merge 1998. He gave us his full recap of the show, Brad. Quickly, Merge mentioned that match of the year contender was the international triple threat match. So he's
so good.
He's like us. Yes, I agree. He enjoyed Hanger versus Jey, Willow versus Mariah, Darby versus Brody, and Hologram versus Mortos. Merge loved Adam Cole's return. He also enjoyed Mox versus Bryan, but the ending fell flat for him. After the match and the Yuta turn really didn't sit well with Merge. Good show, he says, with a bad ending.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, man. Like I thought if not, what were there? What like 9 matches? I think something like that on the
Sounds
main card.
right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 on the main card. 7 of them were great. 7 of them were great. 2 of them were good, and none of them were bad. I think any of them were bad. I thought they were all really good. And it was a really, really fun show. There's just a couple of kind of booking decisions that I didn't like, and I'm not in charge. And I'm just a stupid mark on a podcast with my friend talking about pro wrestling. And I've never been in the business, but you like what you like, you know? Speaking of, sometimes you like things a lot. And when we like things a lot, we got to acknowledge it by giving them or them their flowers. Flowers were handed out this week. I don't know to whom. Tyler's going to fill us in. It's time for a rose from Tyler. So play the music.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
You know, I got you. There was a Chippendales theme group date.
Oh, sweet.
So you did. Yeah, you didn't miss much. The whole, it's become pretty comical. It's a staple for the franchise. They have to have a stripping related group date at some point, it would seem. And I'm kind of over it, but the guys seem to have fun. And of all the ones we've seen, this was probably one of the more wholesome stripping outings, if that can be a thing.
Yeah,
you had to be. You had to be there, but you didn't miss much. So that opened the show, Brad. Also on this episode, there was a somewhat lackluster one-on-one that Joan had with Guy. Lackluster in my eyes. He got a rose, and he's still on the show. Presumably, probably still a favorite, but in my mind, lackluster. I don't see the connection quite yet. To be continued. And 2 favorites of Batch Nation went home. Unfortunately, I'm referring to Charles and Gary.
Man.
Brad, all that being said, my rose goes to Chalk this week. Sadly, we learned of his mom's passing during the episode. He shared the news with Joan, left for an unspecified amount of time. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why. He left for an unspecified amount of time that I can remember, and then returned. He emerged from this episode as a legit favorite to make hometowns. Prior to this episode, I didn't think he would be in that final 4, but leaving this episode, he's really emerging as someone to watch out for. Kind of like the New York Mets in the MLB playoffs. Shout out to our guy, Mike Steph. I think Chalk is the New York Mets of this season. He's come out of nowhere. He's peaking at the right time. And I think he's going to make hometowns now. I'm a believer.
It hurts my soul to hear you say that, because I thought that could have been the Tigers had they not lost to the Guardians today. So
listen, we got, okay, so AL, Yankees and Guardians, NL, Mets v Dodgers. We wish the Tigers were here. We wish the Diamondbacks would have made it. Do you have a prediction for the World Series?
I think it would be hilarious if it were a Subway series.
Okay, that's the answer I was hoping for.
Because nobody outside of that part of the country will watch. Because nobody will care.
Wow.
So who's played? The Mets and the
Yankees.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so no. That's in the if the Mets and the Yankees end up playing the Subway Series, right?
Yeah,
Mets and Yankees and Guardians, and then Mets
Mets and Dodgers. The Dodgers have made it here once again.
If it's not Dodgers Yankees,
yeah,
everybody will tune into Dodgers Yankees.
Oh, of course. That has to be what MLB is hoping for.
I don't think outside of the Northeast, people are going to tune into Mets Yankees. I think people will be curious game one and then not care. Wow. If it's Guardians Mets, 18 people are watching that shit. Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
18 is crazy.
So nobody's gonna watch that. So I'm hoping for Mike that it's the Mets. I'm hoping for you it's the Yankees. So I guess that's all I care about. So go Guardians and go Dodgers. Because I want chaos. Because my Tigers are done. So I just want to see. I want Dodgers Guardians because I think it would be hilarious.
Okay.
Because it's just getting Cleveland in there. And what's funny is Cleveland is obviously a big sports town. It's like so obvious. It's like there are Hall of Fames that are relevant in that state, and that state sucks. Also, go Oregon. That's hilarious that Ohio State lost today by 1 point when their quarterback slid with no time remaining and looked up at the clock like, oh, game's over. After spending like $50 million in NIL agreements to build that team, and then woof. That poor kid, man. Anyway, I will be tuning into whoever is in there. Chaos or otherwise, only because I know my friends are going to be rooting for those teams, and because I mean it's the World Series. I enjoy it.
It's a big deal.
I don't know that you're getting football fans away from football for it.
That's true. It is a behemoth. Speaking of behemoths, Brad, WWE quickly or not quickly, we have to talk about World Wrestling Entertainment.
We're so far in, we may as well take an hour.
We really are. But no, man, some really great stuff happened on WWE TV this week in all seriousness. So quick preamble and then my question. Roman acknowledged Jimmy. Braun turned heel again.
Yep.
And Stephanie Vaquer officially debuted on NXT. Rejoice. Joining forces with Julia to thwart the devious duo of Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. Also, Tony D'Angelo dethroned Obafemi.
Yes.
And New Day seemed to be crumbling before our eyes. I guarantee that you are not expecting this question. However, I want to ask you about the continued teases of a Goldberg return. He had the interaction with Gunther at Bad Blood, and Triple H alluded to never say never on a recent X post. What's the best case scenario for this? And are you surprised we're here once again?
The best case scenario is that it doesn't happen. I don't know.
This is great. This is great content for our audio listeners.
Got nothing. The dramatic.
Are you surprised that we're back in this position where he could lace him up? You know, the Saudi Arabia show is just around the corner.
He never got the retirement match.
Right.
Well, Saudi Arabia is the most obvious place for him to do it. They got FU money. He's a big draw there. They get Goldberg one more time. That could be his last match. It's against an incredible talent. Yeah, just do it and then have Goldberg retire. Maybe you can have his son will jump in there again, and this time hopefully not get beat up. I don't know. I could see his kid also taking a shot from Gunther, just not during football season. So because I know he's playing, so it doesn't make sense for him to go in there, potentially get hurt in another country. Doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. But Goldberg
imagine just flying over there to get chopped. That's got to be.
Yeah,
I think we forget about how much travel these amazing performers, go.
I also don't see. I don't see that happening. You have he's holding the current belt. Number one, I don't see Goldberg eating a chop. Number two, I don't see Goldberg pulling off a jackhammer on Gunther. Not at that age. Gunther is huge. I just don't see it. Maybe he could do it. He could do a spear for sure. But I also think like, well, how old is he? 50s probably, not 60s, but
definitely 50s.
But he's probably around Chris Jericho's age, maybe a little older. I could see him blowing out his knees or his quads when he does it too. I don't know that it makes a lot of sense. I have no idea what shape he's in right now. He could be in incredible shape and never lost shape or whatever. But I just don't see a scenario where it makes sense outside of maybe a segment. Right. That's what I got. So hopefully it doesn't happen. And if it does, hopefully it's just a segment where he goes ringside and he's like guest referee for a match or special enforcer or something like that.
Right. I remember this was at SummerSlam years ago when Dolph Ziggler ate a bunch of spears from Goldberg. My recollection, it was either a segment or it was a really quick match, but that was one of the more effective uses of Goldberg in the last
that's all he needs to do.
10 years in WWE. It's all he needs to do. I'm just completely surprised this is even happening. This was not on my radar whatsoever.
Yeah.
Even leaving Bad Blood, I thought, okay, maybe this is just a one-off because they're in Atlanta and they're kind of seemingly having Legends Night. But to me, it's pretty shocking that we're in this position. I just hope all performers are safe and get their bag and we can move on from there.
It's a great question. Like Mick Foley could come back and do an in-ring promo and then have someone piss him off and he hits him with a mandible claw, or Undertaker chokeslams Rock during WrestleMania. Like he doesn't need to do the whole thing. He could just do his moveset, give the people what they came to see, have it be a nostalgic thing, and then get him out of there. I would pop huge if he just did a Goldberg thing. If he came out and breathed the smoke through the sparks and then speared Gunther for pissing him off, got up and did the blah thing to the camera. Like that would be
clip that too. Yeah. That is the top clip we need.
Yes. I would love
that's the thing. I don't know who, to your point, we know Gunther's already slotted in to face Cody, presumably the main event of the show. So we know that's my thing is, okay, it seemingly has to be some interaction with Gunther. Other than that, I don't even know who he would interact with. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory.
Those were the two.
A new heel Miz.
Yeah.
Who are the candidates?
Maybe he comes out there because R-Truth was confused. I can see them doing a thing with like, I thought this was like an executive producer because there's several that are named Goldberg. I think that would be really funny. I could see him doing something with that, or just being incredibly confused by like you said, go get like Bill. Is there another Bill in the company that's behind the scenes? I think it would be really funny. And he pulls up Bill Goldberg would be hilarious. Just having him there and then like Goldberg getting in Miz's face for being mean to Truth or something. Right. I could see that, like have him do something like that where he's like trapped in this comedic spot, but he's still like just Hoss Goldberg that's going to beat people up. I think would be awesome. Because you're getting the nostalgia of Goldberg, but it's in a hilarious spot where he's also a threat, but Truth is clueless. That could be amazing. I would love to see stuff with that. Just Truth being confused about Goldberg and Goldberg there to help him out. And then have that be an interaction with the Miz. I just, there's so many different things they could do with that. I just don't know where it fits right now. I don't know where it would fit on a pay-per-view other than Goldberg's there, but like the legend spot they had on Bad Blood, or again, something like make it make sense with the WrestleMania spots where it was like, all right, these people are interfering. So here comes John Cena and here comes the
and Roman versus Cody. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. You could do another callback for the Bloodline, but they're there to help Roman this time. And they take out the other guys. I could see that. I would love to see Goldberg bump into Braun back in the behind the thing. They both have NFL backgrounds where they had to leave. They both have spears as finishers.
They both have the tattoo.
Yes. Yeah. I would Yeah, I think it would be really cool if they bumped into each other backstage and just like stared at each other with their goatees sticking out and just didn't say a word, just glowered at each other in the hallway.
That's the best idea I've heard or seen all week. I think that's the one, Brad.
It would be amazing, right? Like I think that one would be great. Yeah,
I can accept that one.
Anyway, I think all of that is fun. And I hope they don't make it not fun for us. That's it. I think Triple H is smarter than that, and he's booked the older guys really well so far. So we'll see what happens. So Tyler, Roman did return to SmackDown. We know what happened. You talked about it. So Jey is still signed to Raw and is beefing with Braun. At what point does Jey rejoin Roman and Jimmy, or does he at all?
He does. I could absolutely see this being a scenario where we don't get the reformation until Survivor Series night, assuming that we're getting Bloodline War Games. To me, this could follow the trend of what we've seen from previous War Games, where who's that last participant? I could totally see this being a case where they play it off until the very end, until that night. And then Jey Uso comes in to be that last person. But I am also of the mindset that Sami has to be included in this mix as well.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, it maybe makes more sense for Sami to be that one to come in at the 11th hour. It's going to be last minute either way, in my opinion. Either, let's say, the SmackDown before the pay-per-view or, again, my aforementioned on the night of. But you're right, Brad. This is the dilemma of, I don't even know if it is a dilemma anymore, but it seems like we're having a lot of Raw superstars appear on SmackDown or vice versa. Like, do we really still have a hard brand split? Does it even matter? Because we're seeing great, talented people. Yeah, this is a dilemma though, because Jey is involved in this story with Braun for the IC title, and Jey just won it.
Right.
Two weeks ago. And I know the money was really in the moment, not necessarily Jey having a lengthy reign, you could argue. But this one's tough. I'm going to say on Survivor Series night, but I don't feel great about that answer.
Well, if they have War Games, I think they're going to have to. I'm totally with you. I think it's going to be one of those things like, I don't know if he's going to show up. I can see that happening because if it's Solo, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga Tangaloa, that's 4. You have Roman, you have Jimmy, and then you have nobody else except for Jey and Sami.
Yeah, and they're going to need those guys soon.
Yep.
Based on how the Bloodline beat the brakes off those two.
Right.
On
but isn't War Games 5-on-5? So you would either need Cody or The Rock for that 5th person, and I don't know what side they go on, and I don't know what the current Bloodline side does, unless they're going to pick up like Zilla or somebody. I don't know who they pick up. I think that's probably also when we're going to have, hopefully, Paul Heyman return, trying to fix stuff. And like,
when does Paul Heyman return? I think he's returning soon. He's gonna be a part of this sooner than Jey. In my opinion.
I would love to see, like, if they have a backstage segment where it's Jey backstage and he's like, yeah, and then he just, oh, hey, I gotta go, and they do the camera thing and follow him out. And everybody's
we could see that as soon as this week.
Yeah, who's he on the phone with? And then it's like he's setting it up for War Games, but it's the wise man behind the scenes. Wow. I think that could be good.
Yeah, and we still got time. War Games isn't a week from now, but we need to start planting those seeds, which you could argue happened on Friday when Roman said, "Yo, we need help."
And maybe The Rock is. Maybe he's the special guest referee overseeing what happens with the Bloodline in War Games, because he has a vested interest in all of this. He's part of it, but he's not part of it. If he's the final boss, I still don't understand what that means. Why isn't he the tribal chief? If the tribal chief is the moneymaker of the family, the head of the family, I'm guessing the billionaire is probably the tribal chief in this situation. Call me crazy.
Yeah,
but he's former multi-time champion,
he's the tribal chief, he's the breadwinner.
He's all of those things. He's carrying around his own belt that Muhammad Ali's wife gave him, and he reminds us all the time that's so it's just, I don't understand why Rock can't do it, but Alpha and Sika can't exactly crown him. So they crown Roman. They're gone. it's how, who's the eldest? The only person left is Dwayne Johnson's mom.
Right.
As far as I know, I don't know who else is left in that family that's like wrestling business adjacent, but like it would be cool to see her come out and be like, no, this is the one. I think that would be awesome. But I have no idea how that goes, man. And I'm with you. I had Survivor Series down. I think it's for War Games. I don't think it's anytime sooner, but I think we start getting those seeds planted as soon as like Braun probably taking back the belt again, which is dumb. But maybe Braun just beating the brakes out of him and off of him in the ring, and then Jimmy's music hits, and then Jimmy comes out. And then we have like an Uso reunion, or even Sammy running out would make a lot of sense since they're still friends and stuff. So I don't know. It could be either one of those things. I'm excited to see what happens.
Me too. Yeah, Jay's for sure joining them. It just makes me think about, was this IC title necessary if he's going to drop it potentially? I mean, maybe he ends up going into Survivor Series as IC champ. I think that's totally possible. I know we're kind of speaking as if it's a foregone conclusion. He has to lose the title to participate in this. I don't think that's the case, but yeah, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna talk about it. I can't wait.
I can also see him losing to Solo.
Oh,
giving him a reason to want to go back in.
Interesting.
and help Roman, and because it's not going to be, well, actually maybe Jacob Fatu, but I feel like if Solo's the head of the current bloodline, then it should probably be him if there's somebody winning the belt. But
yeah, he's done a lot of losing lately.
Yeah,
a lot of losing lately.
A lot of losing. So, we'll see what happens. But excited. The fact that we can talk about it and all these little crumbs and all these stories, and all of it has been earned, and we're trying to look forward to when it's going to happen again, is a credit to the storytelling that they've been able to do over the last several years, versus we don't know why there was a beatdown at the end of the night and Wheeler Yuta was putting a bag over Bryan Danielson's head. I think that's the difference. Is great matches, like you said, where the best wrestle. AEW, incredible matches. Storytelling's missing there, where we get really good matches in WWE that aren't quite to the level of an AEW pay-per-view wrestling match, but the storytelling just leaps and bounds above.
What did we miss from the week?
Probably nothing. We just talked for hours, it feels like.
Yeah. I got a couple notes.
I do too.
Totally on the sports side of things. WNBA finals as of this recording, Brad Winchester. The Minnesota Lynx are up 1-0 on the New York Liberty. You and I texted about this. An amazing game one. WNBA's on fire. They're going to move to a 7-game series moving forward. But for now, 5-game series. Minnesota pulled off the upset. Liberty are the favorites in this series, but Minnesota looks legit. Can't wait to talk to you more about this on air and off air. And then final sports note, final update from me on what did we miss. College football, if we can go back here for just a moment. Arizona State in two very different, surprising positions right now. U of A is 3-3 on the year. They suffered a really tough loss at BYU over the weekend. Not a good look whatsoever. Fan base is already down on the new coach and coaching staff, Brent Brennan and company. Whereas ASU miraculously is 5-1 on the year. Kenny Dillingham, head coach, had a really epic not press conference, but at the end of the game when he was being interviewed on the field, fans were swarming. He was just looking like a total boss and approachable.
That was great.
Yeah. Blew up on social media. So
yes, it did.
It was less than a year ago when the ASU program was still not in total shambles, but was really struggling. U of A was just soaring. And then now, not even a full calendar year later, these programs seem to be in two very different positions. We'll see what happens. I can't wait to tune in.
Yeah, it's great. Marana High School still undefeated in their football program. Marana High School flag football, the girls football team, lost their first game in I guess team history and then bounce back with a dub the very next game, which was awesome to see. There was something you said. The Liberty, I saw a stat that the Liberty in the finals, which they've been there a lot, have never won a game one. They've lost all of their game ones. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and they end up winning the championship anyway. So we'll see what happens. I know when we talked and you asked who do I think is going to win, because I was like, well, I don't really know. I'm going to pick Minnesota, and so far I feel pretty good about it. I after I said that out loud, I felt like I had to have a vested rooting interest in this team now. But INSQ, wow. I mean, just that whole end sequence, I cannot believe that she missed the layup.
Stewie.
Yeah.
John Claude Jones is just kind of there, but is she being utilized? It was a very odd sequence. Shout out to Minnesota for it. I mean,
despite
they
Williams,
took that
Williams had a huge bucket and then immediately threw a terrible pass that got picked off, and I was like, oh no. And then that game was crazy. It was a lot of fun to watch. I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Yeah, me too. Brad, marathon edition of GI. Thank you for being here with me on this very late Saturday night that has now turned into a Sunday morning.
Normal Sunday recording.
We recorded directly after the pay-per-view. Most importantly, though, in all seriousness, thank you all for joining us. If you're new here, we hope you had a great time. We hope you'll join us next week. If you've been about this GI life, thank you for continuing to support us. It truly means everything, and we'll see you next time. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.